Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Get ready, y'all.
Live?
Yes.
Well, not live, we're recording. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Beards, Bikes, and Bites. We're still not quite there yet. Corona has caused us to get a bit delayed on setting up our studio, but we've made some improvements. We got some legit equipment, mics, lights, trying to do the best with what we have. Fortunately, me and Ayub couldn't be in the same place this week uh, for obvious reasons.
Yes, COVID.
COVID. So he's stuck in Dubai. I'm in Abu Dhabi. But hopefully things will get better soon and we'll be able to be in the same place because we've been at this for around an hour and a half trying to get this set up. That said, uh, you might experience my videos turning on and off frequently. Again, it's just we're working with what we have.
It's okay. As long as we get to hear your good voice.
Aw, thanks. Man, are you wearing pants or is this like a Zoom interview?
That I am.
All right, I'm not wearing. No, I am wearing pants.
I'm wearing
Uh,
Batman.
that's, dude, remember when COVID? Everyone was scared of COVID. Now it's just like an inconvenience and an annoyance.
Yes, it's just like khalas, we're fed up. I remember when it first started, people used to say, governments, they used to say it's going to be 2 weeks only. And then almost 2 years later, here we are.
Almost
Stuck in two different cities because of COVID.
that's less than an hour and a half from each other by car.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I remember back when it first started in China, everyone was like, "Oh, that new virus in China, some fucker went and ate a bat. They're crazy." And then it became a worldwide pandemic, and then it started that if you heard anybody would like have COVID, you're like, "All right, he's already dead. All right, let's start let's start praying for him." Was on now.
But
Uh,
you know what's funny in that actually the oldest strains, which is the first one, was the deadliest and it wasn't as fast spreading as these ones, like this Delta variant, and I don't know how many other variants that passed before. It's not as fast in spreading, but the first ones, I remember when it went to Italy and Europe, it just overtook everything, and the numbers were very high, like 20,000 per day, and the numbers were crazy.
uh, Yeah, I mean, we keep getting new variants, but even still, it doesn't have the same, like, nobody's scared of it anymore. COVID is like the old thing. Nobody cares about it anymore. Like I said, when it first started, people were like, dude, COVID, better watch out. Better sanitize your hands like 15 times before you get through the door.
Yeah.
Somebody got COVID, they're already dead. Now it's like everyone, like you hear someone has COVID, it's like, all right, when's he gonna come back to work? Now you have the alpha, beta, delta strains.
14 days quarantine, I don't know what.
Yeah.
No, I think it's
I mean,
10,
the only
right?
good, I don't keep track of they change the rules every day. People in the UAE know what we're talking about. It's like a guessing game, bingo. But at least one good thing about this whole thing and all these new variants is people are practicing their Greek letters because
Oh
they
yeah.
keep naming. Now they have the Lambda variant. Didn't
Yeah.
they like discover that like a few days ago in like Japan or something?
Yeah, each country has its own
Yeah,
Greek
yeah.
number, yeah.
So I just found it here. Like Japan reports first confirmed case of infection with Lambda variant. I'm telling you, man, people are brushing up on their Greek language skills. And speaking of which, so Corona has become more of an inconvenience and an annoyance rather than like people being scared of it like they were before.
Mm.
Yeah, so COVID's the old thing. New thing was the Olympics. Now the Olympics are over. Thank God. Now people can shut up about the Olympics.
How you're
I
happy
don't have to
about that?
talk about it anymore.
No one is
Yeah.
patriotic
No,
anymore.
no, no, no. Uh, a lot of weird stuff happened during this Olympics, though. We saw one article the other day.
Uh, the Ugandan player, right? Olympian
Yeah,
athlete.
yeah.
Yeah, fabulous guy.
So, what was his name?
Uh,
Good luck pronouncing it.
his name is Julius. One second. Siskitoleko.
We apologize
I'm,
to all
I'm I'm
Ugandans.
sorry if yeah I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but honestly it's double Sekitoleko.
Julius Sekitoleko.
Yeah.
Julius Sekitoleko. Right?
S-
I probably offended a whole bunch of people. That's fine. That's fine. Anyway, this dude got to the Olympics. He was going to compete in weightlifting. And he just straight up ran away. He's like, I ain't going back to Uganda, bro. 20-year-old Julius arrived at Entebbe International Airport just after 8 a.m.
Hmm.
After
But
clearing immigration, remained at the airport more than 2 hours.
but
He,
according
he,
to the article that here it says that he failed to qualify. So basically, he went for the pre-qualifications in Japan, and he failed to qualify for the Olympic Games after he arrived in Japan. But he didn't want to go back to Uganda. He's just like, no, no, I'm not gonna go back there. And then what did he do? He just sent his belongings to his wife, and he's like, okay, bye.
just is like, I'm gonna chill with the Japanese people now. I'm gonna blend in.
Yeah,
Oh,
like he just went to a different city that's 200 kilometers away. Like this guy really like he's running away from from something.
you don't think they're gonna look for him? I think it's gonna be pretty easy to find him. The tall African dude in in a country of small, tasty Asians.
I mean, he could blend in. You don't know. You
True.
don't.
There could be a lot of
You don't remember.
there could wherever he went to, there could be a lot of Ugandans walking around the streets.
Yeah, I mean the area he went to. It's called Nagoya.
Nagoya. I've never been to Japan. I always wanted to. So he's living the dream.
Yeah, but you know what's funny that he's not the first guy to do this. Even the old Olympics, I mean the past Olympics, 2016 and 2012, a lot of people just ran away. I remember seeing these guys that in the rugby sevens from also Uganda went missing after competing in the 2014 Commonwealth in Glasgow. They just went there to Glasgow and they would seek asylum. So it's
Things are not going too well in in Uganda, apparently. They keep losing players.
I mean, it's due to the like the talents. There are talented people, but the finances are not the same as other countries in regards of support.
I mean, but yeah, true. Like in all seriousness, this happens a lot, and like for obvious reasons,
Yeah,
people that are coming from these countries, it's not a good place, man.
yeah. It's
Like,
look at the French team that won the World Cup. Most of them are Africans. It's. I mean, of course, they're not the same case. They didn't run away, but they were born there. But I mean, the the choice for them to play for their actual country or France, they chose France. It's easier. Like a lot of Algerian players and so on, like Benzema and so on. He's Algerian. He plays for France. It's the support is, and you get fame faster there. You know, in the end, this is their job. If he doesn't do this, he doesn't get famous, he doesn't get money, and he just
I mean, yeah, I don't think these people running away in the Olympics care about getting famous. I think they just don't want to go back to whatever country they came from. There was that those the people from Belarus,
yeah,
the
Belarus, yeah.
Belarusian Olympic, yeah, the sprinter. I definitely can't pronounce that name. Chris
Chris,
Christesina.
Christina, just
Good luck,
Christina, yeah. No,
Christesina.
I tried the first
Yeah,
time.
so yeah, so it's all political. Her statement about not wanting to go back, and now she's exiled. It's like I don't. I think it's more than just like choosing to play for one country over the other for fame.
Mm,
It's they not wanting to go back to wherever they're from. It's because it's a shame. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, and I totally get it. But at the same, I mean, in the same situation, same regard, the people who come from these countries and actually stick around to like prove themselves, like what happened in the Philippines winning the gold, that Syrian guy who won the bronze in weightlifting,
yeah.
and his story was like real heartbreaking. Like they had like pictures of his shoes. They looked like flip-flops. Like he was,
Yeah, yeah.
like his country
It's
couldn't even give him enough money to sponsor him to get a new pair of shoes. Damn.
this is what I was talking about. The financial support is what's making a lot of people run away. Like, remember the Tunisian swimmer that got the gold medal? He was 18 years old, and you know who was there, and from the Tunisian fans or whatever, only his coach. No one else went. And when he went on the podium to get the gold medal, they didn't even give him. Yeah, he doesn't even have an actual outfit. You know, he just wore the swim shorts that he wore and the T-shirt that he wore before going into the water. And he won a gold medal. So it's the support, the money, the finances are the problem, and a lot of people seek other options for that. After all, this is their income. I mean, not in the case of the guy who
True.
won
I
the
mean, we
medal.
talked about it the last time, Yani.
Yeah,
It's it's their one way out, and
yeah,
it's I don't know. I was also reading an article the other day that these Olympics, like we were talking about what these people do all year and if they practice all year. So I was reading an
yeah.
article and I saw like this mini documentary talking about at least Olympians in the United States. What do they do all year? How do they survive? Where do they get their money? Turns out most of them just work everyday jobs, whether it's like delivering for Grubhub, which is like the American version of Talabat or Zomato,
Hmm.
work at like fast food restaurants, just everyday jobs just to get by, and in their off time
They
they
practice.
practice. And the money they get, the U.S. at least, they said that there's no sponsorship from the government. Like they only get money as long as they win a medal. And the more niche sports is, the less money they get. So people like we're talking about, what's so niche? What's like a not very well followed sport? Let's just say javelin
Um,
throwing for example, I
yeah.
guess.
Or the
Yeah, so
dis.
they wouldn't be making the same amount as like swimmers or
Yeah, yeah.
equestrians or anything like that. Uh, yeah, so what and the money they get is like not that much, like at all. Even the ones that are higher ups. So
That's sad actually, because if you look at other sports, it's a lot of money compared to Olympics.
I'm I mean, didn't what did happen just recently this week? Messi left Barcelona, and like this Qatari club offered him how much?
I saw this post. Yeah, it was like they offered him 1 billion euros for 3 years.
That's ridiculous. I think that was a fake offer. I think they were like, listen, say 1 billion.
No,
Let's see if he bites.
the thing is, it's easy for any team now to offer these things for Messi because he's a free agent. So they don't have to actually buy him for Barcelona. He's free. He can go to any team. He can even play for the Shorta Suri.
Yeah.
If they have the money to pay his salary.
But why, so he doesn't have any negotiating power at that because he's not being bought from anything. Why offer him 1 billion, was it euros
To have
off the bat?
to have his services. That's his salary basically. Because Messi is an expensive
Uh-huh.
player.
Sure.
Like in Barcelona, he used to take per week, I think 600,000 or 700,000. I don't remember exactly, but per
Me
week.
too.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. All the engineers in the Emirates are crying right now. It's just like a single tear.
Yeah,
You don't look so
I'm crying as well internally. Don't remind me.
like you're like fuck you, buddy.
No, but
But anyway.
it's. I mean, and like it's crazy because this is just from football. He has sponsors like Pepsi, Adidas. He gets side money like crazy. He doesn't have to play football now anymore. He can stay at home and he still gets money from Adidas.
And most of these people can play for like 2 years and if not have to do anything for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, he stayed 21 years with Barcelona. I mean, honestly, I'm not a Barcelona fan, but it was sad because you know you see Barcelona, you hear Barcelona, you see Messi, so it's gonna be weird now seeing him playing. I think he's going for PSG. Most probably tomorrow they'll discuss announce his
What's PSG?
Paris
I don't know jack shit about soccer. I just know like Ronaldo and Messi.
Paris Saint-Germain. It's a French team. They have Neymar, Mbappe, and now they've got Ramos. They're making basically the FIFA team.
These are very exotic names that I don't know anything about, but that's cool. I assume they're good players,
They are, yes.
as I don't know anything about soccer.
So yeah, the PSG is going to be an interesting team to watch in the future once they get Messi.
Alright.
Yeah, now
In other news.
we'll put the football aside. We can discuss this another time.
Yeah.
It will be a funny conversation because you know nothing about it, so that should be fun. We'll go back to
Yeah, you'd just be talking to yourself. I'd be like, what are you talking about, man? That's cool.
everything is exotic. Will be.
Yeah. In other news, as you see behind Ayub and back here, we have our official logo.
Yeah, and
Hold
here
up.
in this, I'm sorry, my finger is disappearing. Yeah, and this, here, there's a logo. Yeah, finally we got the official logo. Hit like.
People are asking us people are asking us if we're gonna talk about bikes, and then we punch them. Every group has that one friend,
Yeah,
and he's probably gonna be watching this. Who's like, what are you talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Every group has this one friend who is always lost. Be in a group with like 3, 4, 5 of you. You guys will be talking about one thing, and this dude will just be like blank faced.
And 2 weeks later he'll follow, right?
2 weeks later, he'll ask you about that thing that you talked about a while back. He's like, what did you mean by that? Brother. Please, brother. Brother, please, brother, explain.
Oh
So-
my.
I will have him on. Like, if he's listening, he's probably cussing us, but we'll have him on eventually whenever we get our shit together.
Yeah.
Because
that should be
again,
fun.
yeah, like again, we're trying to get everything situated. This is harder than it looks, man. This is a lot of planning and a lot of talking and a lot of like discussing of what to do and how to basically keep things interesting.
But you know,
But we'll get there.
I think it would have been easier if we were both in the same city. I think this could have made this moment here would have been easy, but yeah. Or
You know, what would be easier
what?
is we didn't need to get PCR tests 15 times just across the border.
I'm not gonna
That'd be
get
nice.
to do that. I'm lucky I don't have to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you stay there.
You have to.
The guy, they have you trapped over there with the corona people.
Yeah. with the corona
Uh,
paper. Nice. Now
man,
back to the Syrian guy. I have a
man, we took a tangent. We're
I
talking about this guy's flip-flops and sneakers,
and yeah, we
and
went
then
to
you went to
Messi.
Messi and $1 billion or
It's
euros.
it's the difference, yes. Like flip flops and Messi. It's a big
Very
difference
true.
between the money in Olympics and football. Now I have to say something that he did a good job because in 2016 he finished 15th, and this year he actually managed to get a silver. So that's a very good job. I mean, he should be very proud of himself because
I
I,
mean,
I know now everyone, as you said, will be patriotic and be like, oh no, yes, my country won this, but that's not true. He won this. No one else won it with him.
yeah,
He
I mean, anybody who's Syrian here in the Emirates knows this is not a political statement. It's very transparent of the support that that country gives their Olympics,
mm,
and honestly, with everything going on right now, that's the last thing on their mind is how well we're gonna do in the Olympics.
yeah,
So, good to him. What's his name? Ma'an Assad.
that's
Assad.
that's man
Assad.
Assad. So his name is
Assad.
Man. Okay, nice. I thought it was a Syrian man, Assad.
They just didn't know his name. They're just like this Syrian man, Assad, on Wednesday picked up an Olympic bronze medal. We can't. We don't know this guy. His name is Man.
So his name is Man.
His name
Okay,
is
good to
yeah,
know.
John Doe Assad.
Sorry, just to
Yeah.
clarify, he won the bronze, not a silver. My bad. He came third from 15th. That's a good job. Still,
He's 27 years old. I didn't realize that. He's pretty young.
I mean, I don't know the age for Olympics. Like, every sports has it's when someone, even if they're young, they become old. Like, for example, Messi is technically old. He's 34.
And you keep
But
going back to Messi, man. You love that guy.
because I do, man. He changed football. I mean, I'm not a Barcelona fan. I love him. So it's just he
Ayub really loves football.
yeah. And
As
it's
Ayub really loves
it's
football.
it's beautiful to watch Messi play. Anyway, so yeah, like in football, the age after 30, when they're above 25 to 29, they're experienced football players. After that, they become old and they start becoming a liability for the team, so they have to sell them. So I don't know about the Olympics, what's old and what's young. I mean, the Ugandan player, he's 20.
He was 20. Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, he's still a
Like I
kid.
said, I don't really care about the Olympics. Yeah, I'm just saying maybe it's because he's from Syria. He just looked older than 27.
Hmm?
He just looked older than 27 is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys could like look his pictures up.
We'll,
Pretty
we'll
big
put
dude.
we'll put a picture of him. I mean, he has to. He lifted what? For 105 kilo. No, that's him. He got a score of 400 in the 100 kilo. Okay. But he's a heavyweight lifter, right? Yeah. Yeah, weightlifter.
حمل هموم الدنيا. Yeah. In other news, it is extremely hot here for anybody who doesn't go outside in the UAE.
Hmm.
Guys, we're burning up.
It's
Burning
hot.
up here.
It's hot, but the corona didn't die in the heat. They keep saying every time they keep changing that the corona has.
It's because it's the Delta variant, man. And now the Lambda variant. It's heat resistant. Not
Yeah,
doctors. Don't don't believe us.
like like
Uh,
it started with 25 degrees. We're like, okay, winter is gonna pass in the UAE. Corona is gonna be dead because by March or April starts getting warmer and it's nice. Summer we thought it's gonna die. We reached 50 here. No, they said it needs to die in like 55 or 56 degrees. So basically, we die for the corona to die. What's the use?
it's
56 degrees. I mean, come on.
I mean, what's funny in countries like Tunisia and Syria where people do not believe COVID is a thing or they don't care. Like the cases that are over there, it's like, okay, the only reason it seems worse than it is, I think, is just because they don't have the infrastructure to deal with sick people.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of, from what, because I have cousins, friends that are doctors that are stuck there, and they're saying, yeah, it's bad. Our hospitals are shit. Like we don't have the beds, we don't have the facilities to take care of anybody. But as far as like cases, it doesn't seem to be that like it doesn't seem to be India bad. There were like burning bodies in the streets. That was bad.
Mm.
So I don't know, man. Like it seems like the extra like cautions and everything that maybe it's herd immunity. Maybe they just everyone got it and now like خلاص.
Or maybe
Only
the
the
food.
only the yeah, man, the food. السمن العربي. They cook with like animal fat, so it just gives you immunity. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Ghee.
What else? Well,
The
I guess
Chinese.
Syria is going to have to, yeah, Syria is going to have to get used to or deal with a new virus because now there's a new virus in China they just discovered.
Yeah, there's a new, but apparently they said it's not an outbreak yet, and they're doing something now that they should have done in the beginning, which is lock China
Yet,
and from people coming
yet,
in or stuff.
yet, yet. The China. Are we going to really believe whatever the Chinese tell us? Like they did the first time? It's like, no, there's nothing going on in Wuhan. You crazy. Don't be silly. And then suddenly we're dying.
2 years later, we're here.
Yeah. Here's the thing. At the beginning of the pandemic, there were reports and people saying that this was a man-made virus and this whole thing about like some dude eating a bat and and getting sick and passing it on to other humans or the bat passing it on to the person who ate it and then spread it around. That's not true. That it's a man-made virus and that actually originated in a virology lab that was in Wuhan.
Hmm.
The story is there's a special research center in Wuhan that studies viruses.
Yeah.
This research center specializes in studying the corona type viruses. So it's a very interesting coincidence, seeing as in the city where they have this lab that study coronaviruses, suddenly was the epicenter of pandemic that has affected the world for 2 years. A lot of people aren't talking about that, at least not in this part of the world. Everyone still is talking about this guy who ate the bat, and like a lot of people aren't like reading into it. I don't think because I've heard it a lot from people in the West and people on like there's articles about it and people on other podcasts. Nobody from our side has like even acknowledged that being a possibility. At least not any news sources I've seen. So, what's your take on it? Have you heard about that? Did you think that's a possibility?
For me, I do believe that's what happened, in my own opinion, what you just said. Because, um, I mean, yes, bats do carry diseases, and I don't think anyone should eat bats. Uh, they don't have anything edible in them. I don't know why someone would eat that. But for example, the Ebola in Africa is also coming from a bat, but that's a different story. The blood of the bat, a guy touched his face or whatever, or he ate with his hand after he touched a dirty bat. That's what caused the Ebola. But I think there might be a possibility if someone, for example, it's a human error, let's say, between quotations, that this person works in a lab and somehow didn't sanitize properly after dealing with all the viruses and stuff, and went to this, they have this, what to call it, the live animal market in Wuhan,
The wet markets.
the wet market, yeah. So maybe they went there, they bought something, and just the virus was in their hands, or they didn't, as I said, they didn't sanitize properly, and they just touched whatever was there, and someone else touched it, and then it continued. This is in case of a human error, which maybe, but I don't. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. It's just
Yeah, I
you said, I
mean,
said, but
it's
I do believe
still,
it's
I'm
it's
just saying that there's a lot of arrows pointing into the direction that if you look deep enough, you'll find that this is likely. I can go out on a limb and say, or I want to go on a limb and say that it's like 90% likely that this is what happened, because there's also various reports. Again, I'll see if we can post this in the description of these studies or reports where uh, like in each lab, obviously, any world accredited lab, there's certain safety procedures and checks and inspections that need to be passed to show that this is up to code. Like, are you protecting against like outbreaks, mishandling? How are people coming in and out of the lab? All the stuff which you just mentioned.
yeah.
So there's a report saying that they failed these checks. That this lab in Wuhan failed these checks on like multiple points, and then like refused to have some inspector come and check it out in person. And there was just a bunch of fishy things that show that they weren't playing fair or playing like very transparent, or abiding by the rules. Who knows why? But then again, that's why a lot of people are like, well, numbers are down in China. I was like, dude, how can you like, how can you still believe anything that's come out of information wise coming out of China when their refusal to share the information in the first place caused
All of this, correct.
or yeah, like if they were forthright and transparent from the beginning, then they could like other countries could have basically been
Prepared.
more prepared.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have been prepared to deal with this situation. The last one pandemic of this scale was the Spanish flu back in like the 1910s.
19, yeah.
Nobody
20.
was alive then. Yeah, so yeah, no, mustahil. Nobody
Yeah.
could have even. But at least they would have had a plan, you know, close down borders, blah blah blah. What you need to do, but because of their refusal to share information, them not being transparent, where we are now. So anybody who comes is like, well, numbers are down in China. These are down. The Chinese have it figured out. Shut the fuck up.
I mean, there are like I think I read it was like 5 countries or 6 countries that have 0 cases, but
That's another thing, man. Yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
the only reason they have 0 cases is because they're just like nobody knows of this place except for the people of from that country. Like for example, San Marino, I think. I don't even know where that is. It's like,
Yeah, they're like this country that's the size of Khaldi doesn't have any cases. Get the fuck out of here. What else? Like also during when like Trump was still president in the States and everyone was shitting on Trump because it was like the new thing to do just to shit on everything Trump does. I'm not defending Trump. I'm just saying that's what it was. Like I think he wanted to stop stop all flights from China, and then everyone was like, "You're racist," because Trump's racist. So they say. So they say. But then New Zealand did the same thing. It like stopped all flights everywhere, and then within like a few weeks to a month, I forget the timeline. But then New Zealand was like, "We're corona free,"
yeah.
and then it was like, see, New Zealand got their shit together. I was like, you're gonna compare New Zealand, which is in like bumblefuck nowhere in the middle of the Pacific. Nobody goes there. Anybody says who's they go to New Zealand is a liar.
I mean,
Compared to like,
I think it's like 20 hours from here.
yeah, who goes there, man? That's like a trip, man. If I want to go, if I want to go to like Europe or Syria, I'm like, man, 3 hour flight. That's an
No,
ordeal.
and bro, you know what's funny is that you actually miss 2 days of your life in a plane because one,
True.
you go ahead of time. Two, you spend 20 hours in the plane. Like
We're
you
time travelers, man.
yeah, like you go 2 days in the future. It's
To eat some kiwis. Oh, but they kept comparing New Zealand, small country, which is fine. I have nothing against New Zealand. I'm just saying the comparison is not, and this is disingenuous and it's not fair
Mm.
when you're like comparing New Zealand to like Europe or Italy or Spain or the United States, where they're like, wow, people in Italy are dying and people in Spain are dying. America doesn't have their shit together. They have 200,000 cases. I was like, man, you need to do the ratio between the population and like the rate of infected and all that. Plus, it's like what New York was on lockdown for the longest time. Well, it's New York. It's New York City. Everyone goes there.
Yeah.
It's literally like a
Milan.
transfer hub for the world.
It's Milan of the US.
La Mila. Yeah, man. El Milan.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke, guys. Maybe one day we'll tell you about it.
It's
And Milan's brother. Oh. Anyway,
Dogo is
that's a nice
judging you.
hat you have, man. That's a
Thank you.
nice hat. Anyway, back on topic. Uh, and people like in Italy, they were like, "Well, Italy doesn't have it figured out because Italy's population was all elderly." I think like I don't know the exact percentage, but like a majority of their population was like
Yeah,
over
above.
60.
Yeah.
So they were just like dropping like flies, unfortunately. Uh, yeah, so that's that was just another thing that pissed me off whenever people were talking about like infection rates and how other countries were doing so much better than like Europe or like the US. It's not that I'm being patriotic or anything. It's just if you want to do a comparison, do it fairly.
But also another thing, um, what to call it? Uh, I think it's also the awareness of people in the beginning. A lot of people would just, they're like, I mean, we were one of them, you and I. When we went to the Spartan,
Uh,
we went to the Spartan race. They're like, Corona, Corona. We're like, nah, it's just another flu.
Hello, Leon.
Yeah, and we went and we did the thing, the Spartan race. So I think in the beginning, just everybody, because we didn't know what this is. We just thought it was like, we related back to the SARS I think it happened in the early 2000s. And
Yeah, what was it? There was another one, the Zika virus.
I wasn't aware of this one. I just
See,
know
nobody remembers the Zika virus.
I remember the SARS because back then SARS was like the thing, and it was like what 700,000 or something. Just I mean, of course, it's not a small number. People died, but uh, it was a small number compared to just the first 3 months or 4 months of Europe and America. Uh, but the SARS, the thing why it was less because the travel wasn't as much as now. The world wasn't open in 2000, early 2000, as it is now in 2020 or back in 2020 and now 2021. So I think these are the reasons why we just a little bit screwed up with this situation because we kept relating to the SARS and we're like, oh, SARS. I mean, nobody, did you quarantine? Do you remember quarantining or staying at home in SARS? No, we used to go to tourist club and play. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's like we said that once we heard about it in China, like was it in like October, November, December? It was like this stuff in China. There's a new virus. They're like, ah, those crazy Chinese, they're at it again. Them and their viruses.
Yes. And then
It's another one at it. Man, they're collecting like viruses like Pokemon cards, man. Just keep coming up with new ones.
it's yeah. يا الله يهدي الجميع.
Huh?
الله يهدي الجميع.
I mean, I'm sorry, guys. To switch to Arabic for a little bit.
I said, may Allah guide everyone to the right path.
Amen. Dude, funny story. When I first went to the States when I was 17, I was in this small town called Morgantown, West Virginia. Beautiful town. I love it to this day. I consider it my home away from home. So, as this young kid from Abu Dhabi, who really didn't like live outside their parents' house before, Just went 17 years old, went over there, like dropped down. So I was like, I need to find my people. Like, I need to find Arabs, Muslims somewhere just to like relate. And I ended up finding the local Islamic center. And I still remember I went there and nobody would talk to me because they thought I was white.
I mean, technically you are, but yeah, I get you.
I mean, yeah, by color, man, but they thought I was like Caucasian. Like مين هذا الجاسوس بعدين who's a spy. What was weird is that يعني now in Arabic we have phrases that if you translate to English it sounds weird if you use it in everyday conversations like habibi, akhi, stuff like that, which translates to my like
My dear.
literally my love, but it means my friend, like a term of endearment
Ah,
or
yeah.
my brother. So they use those terms in English, like with like a straight phrase. You walk in and they're like, "What are you, brother?" I was like, "Listen, man, I ain't your brother,
I have a PTSD from brother, man. The word brother.
the brother."
Bro is fine. Khoya is fine. Dude, anything else. Brother,
Dude, yeah, I'm saying like these Arabic terms, once you use in English, it sounds like brother. What are you today, brother? Let's go pray together, brother. I was like, listen, man, what is this place?
it's recruitment.
It is. It is. They tried, not them. The FBI and the CIA tried recruiting me on multiple occasions over the course that I was there. Uh, uh,
Because of your
the best
whiteness.
story. It's so ridiculous. But two of the occasions was really one and done. They're like, "Hey, do you want to be a spy?" No. Okay, have a nice day. It was the other the what one of the guys. He was really persistent. Remember going to the engineering campus early one morning. It was a Friday because كان في صلاة جمعة. There was Friday prayer. Uh, Got there 8:30 in the parking. I started walking to the building. And suddenly this guy just walks up next to me. He's like, Hamid Jawad Ambari. I was like, yes. As I was walking, and he's like, so yeah, my name is so and so. I forget his name. I have his business card till this day. I have it saved with me because this story is amazing.
It's a beautiful
I'll post
memory,
it
yeah.
on our Instagram. Yeah, I'll post it on our Instagram if I find it. Hashtag follow, hashtag smash, subscribe, like. Anyway, uh, he kept following me, and he's like, "So, yeah, Jawad, you care if I call you Muhammad?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, man." And I never stopped to talk with him. So I was walking, he was walking next to me, had like a trench coat on, and it looked he looked the part. He looked like he belonged with one of those
He's a suit.
organizations.
He's a suit.
He's a suit. So I just kept walking. I was like, who the is this guy? Uh, Mohammed, me and my colleagues come to the engineering campus often, and we have a good relationship with the professors. And we were talking the other day with other professors about the situation in Syria, and this was back in like 2012, 2013, when there was still a war going on in Syria. And I was like, okay. Like شو بدي رد عليه يعني what am I supposed to say about like somebody just talking and be like, okay, well, interesting, sir. Kept walking, he kept talking. He's like, so I was talking with my professor friends about like the situation in Syria, and they're like, yeah, it's a real shame what's going on over there, man. It's a real shame. I was like, yeah, it's real bad.
Want some
It's real
knafe?
bad. بدك شانكليش?
Yeah, you should have offered them some food. Show them the Arab hospitality.
I should have. Instead, I turned them down because what happened next? He was like, "So your professors were telling me that they have a couple of Syrian students, and then they mention your name." Immediately in my head, I was like, "No fucking way! This guy's lying. My professors don't even know my name. There's 400 people in the class. They don't put a face to a name." I think only one of my professors actually knew my name, and that he was a Mexican mechanical engineer. He was such a gangster This guy was named Victor Messino. Anyway, I'll talk about him later. So I immediately call BS in my mind, and I'm just like, oh, really interesting. He's like, yeah, we as an organization, he kept saying we, like there were like he was a collective, not an individual. Like we take care of, we tackle. He's like, we deal mostly with homicides, child trafficking, drugs, but recently we've been taking an interest to the situation in Syria. I was like, ah, okay. And he's like, so we know there's like an Islamic center over here, and we were wondering if you could like just let us know what's going on, see what the situation is. I was like, you can go there yourself, man. The doors are open. I was like, anyway, I got class right now. Peace. And he was like, no, I know you have class. Your class finishes and your schedule finishes at 12:30. I was like, how did he know? He knew everything about me. This is when it started to become creepy. He knew when my schedule started, when my schedule ended, and I was like, "Listen, man, I'm really." He's like, "Can we talk after you're done at 12:30?" I was like, "I'm really busy, man. I have to go to Friday prayer, and then I'm real busy." He was like, "Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Here's my card. If you want to talk, just give me a call, and yeah, we'll talk about the situation." I was like, "I don't think there's anything to talk about, man. Like, you want to go to the mosque? It's right down there. You know where it is, I'm sure. Just walk in." He's like, "All the same, just call me." Go to class. I'm thinking about it all day. Go to Friday prayer, and we had this ritual where me and my friends from college, we finish Friday prayer and we go out and get lunch. So we went to this place called Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. I
Awesome,
heard about it. Yeah.
awesome, awesome fried chicken sandwiches, man. If they ever open up one here in the Emirates, I'll be there every day. Hashtag business opportunity. But anyway, we go there. It
In
was like
Dubai.
1:30 at this point. Oh, what? Dubai, yeah.
Yes. So you come.
Yeah, exactly. So we go at like 2:30 if prayer is over. We go and I get a text message on my phone. Random number I don't know. And it says, "Hey man, I love Chick-fil-A. You should get lunch sometime. By the way, it's Agent so and so." I was like, "What the fuck?" He knew that I was at Chick-fil-A. I don't, he might have been watching me somewhere. He knew that I was at Chick-fil-A, knew my number, and like you'd assume so, he's the FBI. But that was when it was creepy. I was like, there's somebody watching me now, always. And it stayed like this for around 2 weeks before I was like, like I think I told my dad, I was like, this is what's happening right now. My dad really didn't take it serious. He was like, don't let them come take you in a black van. Like, I was like, thanks, father. It's real supportive. I had to go look for someone who actually took me seriously. I found someone in the community who's a doctor. I don't know if he wants him mentioning his name, so I won't. But he had dealings with the FBI before in similar situations with other people, so I wasn't the first one. And he talked to like his contacts, and eventually they backed off. But I think at some point where it was really pissing me off because he was very insistent about wanting to meet. So I called him up and I was like, "Listen, man, do you want to talk? I'm available now." He's like, "Well, I'm in another city and I really can we reschedule?" I was like, "No, man, I'm ready to talk now. I'm not going to do it later." بعدين ما عاد سمعت عنه شيء. I didn't hear after that. I didn't hear anything from him. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, man, recruiting for the FBI and CIA for people overseas is a real thing. That happens.
Now you wish you joined the FBI, right? Instead of working as an
No, I
engineer.
mean, we wouldn't have been having this podcast. I mean, no, if I think if I would had joined the FBI, that would have been I still would have had a life, social life. I think one of the times where I was trying to where I was and I think he was like a CIA recruiter or one of those organizations, like intelligence organizations.
Hmm.
If I joined one of those, then خلاص, I wouldn't have, in my assumption, I wouldn't have had like a regular life anymore. It would have always been something. فهمت علي?
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
you.
yeah. We wouldn't have been having beards, bikes, and bites. Uh,
You'll have
so
beers, bikes, and bites alone.
just been having rays, man, rays. Hashtag
PTSD.
sponsor.
Hashtag my Sugar crash last week.
There's no sugar in this. I think it's caffeine.
Yeah, the caffeine.
Zero
My bad,
sugar.
yeah.
Yeah, you downed these like you were sponsored by them, like it was your job to drink them.
They look nice.
Huh? It did look nice, and the feelings of the cans, they're awesome. This is not an ad, by the way. We legitimately love this drink. It's from, hey, UAE people, if you want to get it, it's from sporter.com. Come in 12 packs and 1 packs. Go crazy.
Yeah.
Sporter, sponsor us.
I think فلوسك
Yeah,
خلصت خلاص.
we need more money for equipment and a proper studio. So come on, Sporter, come through. But yeah, man, like the whole COVID situation here with the lockdowns and everything you were talking about, it's making people crazy. Not to mention like causing people to get like extremely like have cabin fever.
I didn't fly for 2
Uh,
years.
You haven't left in 2 years, correct? So yeah, like even the stewardesses on the airlines are going crazy. So much so they just stuck one on top of Burj Khalifa to say it's okay to fly now.
But
You saw this article?
that's because of the UK.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because the UAE was on the red list for the UK, and they finally now they're on the amber list, I think.
Okay, so their response to being on the amber list is sticking a white lady on top of Burj Khalifa.
Because a lot of British people here, they were stuck and they couldn't travel, and the only way for them to travel to the UK is to go to another country and then quarantine there or whatever, based on if it's green or not, and then from there travel to the UK.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So now everyone is happy. My
Alhamdulillah.
my wife just told me that all the British people that she's in with in the groups and so on, all of them just the minute the news came out, all of them, it's like they had a ticket ready. They flew to the UK.
It's weird. Like I know why. Obviously, you want to go back and see your family and all that. But Europeans, British people specifically, love the UAE. Yeah, love like being here. You know.
Because of the weather.
Yeah, the weather. I was like, you guys are nuts. Even now in the summer, you'll find a bunch of them on the beach. It's like 49 degrees outside, man. Get inside. You pasty white ass will get burned.
It's
They literally turn to tomatoes. They're like, I love it here. It is amazing. It's amazing.
yeah.
You're like, He's like, something smells like bacon. It's you.
I know the feeling. I suffer with
Guys,
this.
the guy, his wife is British.
Yes.
So when she listens to this, she'll probably rip me a new one. Which is fine. Oh, my fellow Caucasian.
Now you're Caucasian, huh?
I'm an equal opportunity. I just take advantage.
You're
Yeah,
chameleon, huh? You blend with whatever.
dude, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive, man.
Of course.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Uh, but yeah, so we're talking about the Dubai airline, the Emirates. After this news about the UK had just opened up to the Amber List and everything, they wanted to announce that, okay, you can fly back home to Greenland, the Isle of King Arthur. So they stuck a white lady, other flight attendants, on the top of Burj Khalifa. Now, my theory is they couldn't find anybody else but a crazy white lady to stick on top of Burj Khalifa. Everyone else was looking at them and like, you're out of your fucking mind. And this lady's just sitting here, standing. And some people are like, this is not real. And then Emirates was like, no, this is real. So guys, you guys can go see that on Instagram. Just search. Emirates flight attendant stands on top of Burj Khalifa. And it just lady with her flight attendant suit on saying, fly better. Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah. She has
Do you imagine that going into the office, the Emirates office, where like the dormitories with all the flight attendants? I was like, all right, ladies, who wants to be in a commercial? Everyone's like, yeah, me, I'll be. What's the commercial? It's like you just need to stand up holding some cards.
I honestly wouldn't do this.
Or like, okay, we can do that. Or where are we filming this?
Stand at the top of Burj Khalifa.
On top of
No.
Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, it's like
And everyone except the crazy white people
I think it's
sat
around
down.
800 meters tall.
At 2,000 plus feet.
Yeah, it's 830 meters to tip. So basically, she stood on the tip, which is 830 meters. That's no, no, like the
Much?
entire 830 meters.
That's 830 meters too much, man. She should have stayed on the ground.
Yeah,
Could have did the same message.
it's
How much would you take? You know this classic question. How much would you take? Or would they have to offer you for you to do that?
nothing. No, I'm not gonna go. It doesn't matter what they offer.
Allah, أعطوني مليون.
Bro, you stand on the what the
The
let's say
balcony?
20th floor of a balcony and you see everything is starting to become small. Imagine you go and 20th floor is like what, multiplied by 3, that's like 60 meters. We're talking 830 meters. No.
Sorry, man.
If we take it that, let's say they did exactly 3 meters floor to ceiling in the thing, so 830 by 3, that's
He's putting his architect cap on.
that's 276 floors if they took it 3 meters exactly.
So,
No.
layman's terms, it's very high up.
Yeah, I mean
It's 830 meters too much.
it's her job. I mean, in the end, she's in the plane, so she's used to this. Looking like you
Oh,
know.
is that how it works?
I mean, no, you know, like they're used to this, the height stuff. It's your job. You
I
get.
mean, I'm used to being in a plane. I don't know, it's different when I'm in a plane and you're in this like I guess even the concept of being in a plane is like you're in a flying Coke bottle.
Yeah. But you
But
go on
like
you go on a plane every, let's say, 6 months. In a month,
yeah, but you're still inside something. This bitch is sitting there like doing she's standing on a spire.
no, she's being held by support from behind. There's a guy behind
She?
her. Yeah, there's a guy. Here's the
I'm
picture.
looking at a picture, there's nothing.
No, there's a guy behind. No, they can't let her by herself.
Oh, this is how it looks to me. This is, I mean, unless this picture is fake, I'll share it with
What?
you and we can post it.
Ah. According to the missus, she said she's a professional stunt woman.
So she's not a flight attendant.
Maybe she's both.
Man, these are tough times. You need to
She's not a flight
diversify.
attendant? She's not a flight attendant.
Ah, okay. She's a skydiver and stunt woman. Nicole Smith Ludwig.
Yeah.
So okay, so she's not a flight attendant. Okay, well that makes more sense.
Yeah.
She's a stunt lady.
Funny enough,
Should I
I
say
didn't
stunt woman?
realize that the missus is behind, so she heard everything you said about the British people.
It's
Live.
fine. صعبنا بعدين. I'll get my comeuppance later. All right, guys. We apparently had some technical issues that had to. We lost a few minutes of the footage, so we're just gonna call it here for today. So until next time, we'll try to upload. Our planned upload is on next Tuesday. So this will be uploaded on the 10th of August at 7 a.m. So next episode will be the following week. We're going to try to have someone on to interview a local business owner. So we'll see how that goes. We might still have this format depending on what the border situation is like or
Yeah. Depending on COVID.
or just whatever life throws at us. We're trying to do the best with what we have, like we said before. So appreciate you guys listening. Follow our Instagram and YouTube page. The updates. We're starting a second channel that we're just gonna consolidate or cut up the episodes into smaller clips, and then we'll post those on the other channel. So you guys, if you don't have time to listen to this entire episode, you can look at like mini
Yeah,
clips from
whatever you
each
want.
episode and decide. Yeah, you just decide on what you want to listen to and go from there. So appreciate you share this channel, help it grow, and if you have any suggestions, topics, uh, we'd love to hear you, love to hear from you. And once again, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys. Peace. Oh, my finger.
Peace.
Bye.